BCE, and I don't think they existed that long, to be honest. Forgeries, fakes, phonies, none of them are agreed upon 100%. So the only people we could find besides the ancient Egyptians who was making stelas back then was the Greeks. And I showed you guys when I was in the Cairo Museum, the Greek statues, the stelas that they made, and it's clear as day, and of course the Assyrians had stelas, the Babylonians and the Assyrians had stelas as well. But it's clear as day what happened, that the Greeks were faking this stuff. And they was obviously trying to push off Judaism, the Hebrews, as them being established before the 4th century. So when I did the video on this in Greek Mythology 3, when we got into the whole thing with Hecataeus and Diodorus Siculus, Hecataeus is who everybody goes back to. Well, Diodorus Siculus, basically paraphrasing Hecataeus or giving us his information. That doesn't stop with anybody. That's every single scholar and researcher goes back to that point because that's the beginning. If you're going to try to go to the beginning of where all the information began and started from, you're going to run into Diodorus, basically quoting Hecataeus as I broke all that down. There's nobody else. So the first person who is supposedly mentioning the Jews, and understand that they only use Hecataeus because of how old he is. We don't even know if Hecataeus existed. They're using him to say, and this is what they're trying to push, if you understand how this thing is working. They're just using him, because I didn't really make this clear in the video. They're using him as a way of saying they must have existed because he knew about them. Everybody understands you're not going to find any proof. But how you get around it? You just use a person that existed during the time you're trying to put them in there and say, well, he was researching them. You understand what I'm saying? So since this man was born, in the 6th century, and, he's doing his researches in, 500 BCE, and he's mentioning Jews, then obviously the Jews must have had existed during this time. Understand? But we can't prove that. And this is what Diodorus was doing the research on. Like, I'm just, I'm quoting this guy, I'm paraphrasing him. I don't believe him because there's no proof. And even if you want to believe him, he's basically saying, well, I never seen any Jews. It still hurt the story. I got the story about the Jews from the Egyptians, which none of that makes sense. It don't fit with everything else. So understand, when Diodorus is putting out this information, he's basically saying, yo, I can't find nothing on these people evil. This is the oldest information that we get. And even he's saying that, I never spoke to any Jews and he met any Jews. It's suspect. But the fact that this dude existed, in the 6th century, then they could say, well, if he was talking about them in the 6th century, then obviously they must have existed before the 4th century BCE. So understand that. It's all bullshit. The fact is this. There's no proof. A shard, a stela, a rock. None of that is indicative of any other civilization we find across the planet that has concrete proof of the existence of their people. So we go into ancient China, ancient Africa, ancient America, what have you, we're going to find the same situation. We're going to find mass graves. We're going to find bodies. We're going to find civilizations in ruins. We're going to find pottery. We're going to find writings. We're going to find other civilizations and people who spoke about those civilizations. There's 100% proof that these people existed, and there's no doubt. Now, do scholars and researchers agree on everything about the ancient Egyptians? No. But that usually has to do with dating and dynasty. Plain and simple. Either, well, we don't know what dynasty this was. We don't agree on it. We don't know what date this was. We don't agree on it. But there's never a question that it belongs to the ancient Egyptians or the ancient Greeks. We know these people existed during this time. The Jews is the only civilization we can't say that about. Even if you go back to civilizations that disappeared, as people who spoke about it. We know the Nook completely just disappeared, but other civilizations spoke about them. We know about the Mayans or the old Merkabah have disappeared. Other civilizations spoke about them. We find bodies, well, in some cases, but we find so many artifacts that is, nonstop, no doubt. So we don't find a shard, or we don't find a rock, or we don't find a suspect inscription. Understand when these people talk about the Tel Dan Stela, which you can read right here, why it's suspect. And they don't agree on the writing. They don't agree on the carving. It's the same thing with the Marian Patah Stele, which, as you can see here, I've seen them all. I've spoken to the archaeologists, I've spoken to researchers, I've spoken to even the Arab curators or what have you. And as I showed you guys in the one photo right here, where he's showing me where they came in and took the darkness, the skin off of the Egyptians in many of the temples. So I'm talking to these people and they're telling me they didn't want to be on camera saying what they was telling me, but I've done the research. I've been there. You don't have to believe me. Don't care. But I've talked to these guys and they will tell you straight up, the Greeks came in there and changed shit. He told me that in almost every single tomb you go into, the skin on the Egyptians was pitch black. And we still find that today. And they diluted it. You know, you see the pictures. They basically took it from complete blackness and made it like brown, or try to make it just like the color of the stone. All of this is to try to give validity to the Arabs being there instead of it, you know, being black. Because if it's black, there's only one people it could be. Now you still find some. This is why they take so long to basically announce a new finding when they find a new tomb. You know, they take a while because they got to go in there and clean shit up. And this is what they've been doing. And you know, he told me this in confidence. So it's one of the things that we already know. But you have to understand, there's no proof. You're not going to find any. There's nothing we're going to find that's going to prove that these people existed. It's all suspect. Everything points to the Greeks. So in my videos, when I'm talking about this is what I mean. People didn't exist. So you had the Greeks, you know, give us the Septuagint in Greek. We don't have one in Hebrew that predates the Septuagint Greek. New Testament written in Greek. It's just that simple. So everything is pointing to them. And you have people who can't fathom this, but it's just clear as day. There's no other people who existed around this time that could fit the Jews, but the Greeks. If you know Greek history and you read the Old Testament, there's only one people that follow that scenario. And I gave you guys the example with Alexander and Tyre, or Tyrus, when the Bible was talking about it with Nebuchadnezzar. They're giving you a whole different story, but the story is similar to what happened in real life with Alexander and the Causeway. The Causeway is still there, still named after Alexander. Clearly, that's where they got the stories. Now, who are we talking about here? The Greeks. So if we have a Greek history, a real Greek historical thing that happened that we can prove, and then we find it in the Bible basically disguised as a different story in the same place, it's common sense. You know, who gave you the story? And as I've shown you guys in the video, this is Ancient History Volume 1, what I'm talking about. When you go there, you still see the Egyptian inscriptions. And as I told you guys, the land, as you know, that we call Israel today was once part of the Egyptian Empire. We were there. So you have to understand real history, real antiquity, and then really look. These people are not being critical. A shard, a stone, or what have you is no proof of the existence of an entire people that, you know, seemingly, you know, basically didn't exist during the time they say, you know, the Bible says they existed. And conveniently, when we have proof that the Greeks are running around conquering and, you know, real history, they just so happen to be captive in, you know, Babylonia, what have you. But there's no proof of that. There's no proof. It's just crazy. Everything has been set up to fit, you know, what they're lacking, you know, as far as them being where they're supposed to be in time, and they're not there. And not just that, we don't find anything. We don't find nothing. The little stuff we do find is never agreed upon. So understand this. When you are debating with these people and talking with these people, they're going to give you the rundown of this stuff. Oh, of course they existed. We have this, and none of it is proven. None of it. Not one thing. The Shroud of Turin, the Jesus, is bullshit. It's not proven. The tomb of Jesus, not proven. And that's even worse if you don't want to prove that. If it's a tomb of Jesus, then he ain't no, you know, risen savior or what have you. None of that stuff never happened. And it's so much that people really look to thinking that it's real. People still think that they found Noah's Ark. They didn't find Noah's Ark. That's proven to be false. You know, Noah's Ark found in Turkey. They already came forth and said that it was, you know, a hoax. One of the chariot wheels from the Pharaoh, when, you know, they had the Red Sea fall on them. It's supposed to be in the Red Sea. That's false. There's so much that's already been proven false, but people are not looking for the truth. They want the fairy tale story, and it's not there. So again, this stuff is never been proven to be true. You have absolutely no proof that these people existed before the 4th century BCE. There's nothing. I've been looking for over 20 years nonstop. I've done all the research. I've been to these places in the Bible, basically every country in the Bible I've been to. There's nothing. You know, when you go to Golgotha, it's a fucking tourist attraction. This is why they don't want you to record there or take pictures there when you're there, for those people who've been there. They don't want you to record shit. It's a joke. Like, come on. And it's nothing. There's nothing. This is why the Bible requires faith and belief. There's no proof. There's people out there telling you that Jesus is proven to exist and that the Bible has been proven and that we have historical evidence beyond a reason. We don't. We don't have nothing that's been concrete proven, period. And then when you find stuff, what you're going to find is it's not proven. And you're going to have scholars who think it's real and scholars who think it's fake. Nobody is ever in agreement on it. So again, that means it's not proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. And this is the case. You know, go to the Cairo Museum, you go to the British Museum, it's the same shit, plain and simple. So, you know, you got to look for these things and, you know, figure out the truth for yourself, but make sure that you are going through and doing your research and looking before you just come out of nowhere and say that something is real when it's not. So you're going to run into this debating with these people or doing your research, and some of them are going to stump you because you're not going to find 100% concrete information about a lot of these stones. But make sure when you're doing your research, you look in the books section. If you're a person that's using Google, you got to really know how to use Google when you're doing your research. Make sure you click on the books. Even if you type in a word, like a keyword, click on books and it'll usually pop up a book that this stuff is mentioned in, and just try to find the for and against. You know, some of them will have like, you know, evidence, and then they'll have what, you know, people are refuting it or what have you in a lot of books. But you're going to find information if you really want to and if you're looking. And in many cases, like I said, you don't even have to waste your time on none of this. It's not proven. And no stele or what have you is going to be concrete proof of the existence of these people, or nor is it going to prove that the Bible is true. It's just, you know, that simple. So thank you guys for listening to me ramble on this for a while, but appreciate you guys watching. Again, make sure you guys take advantage of these sales and get on it and everything. We have new videos coming this week. I appreciate you guys for getting on it. So again, you know, this is going to launch on Christmas Day. A video is going to launch on Christmas Day. We're going to get into the site and everything like that, get into the apps, and really, I want to try to get as many, it's because it's going to be a lot of information. I don't want to overwhelm business owners, but you'll see how the section is structured for your business and how information will just basically be fed to you. You'll get alerts, you know, so when you do get the app, make sure you turn on a notification, because there could be, you know, the difference between making money fast or losing out. But you'll get alerts that's unique to your business and unique to, you know, what you're investing in. You'll see what I'm talking about. And you have to make sure you take advantage of these things. I'm trying to put as much in as I can, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys. If you are serious about business, make sure you get your business license, get your LLC out the way. If you don't have money, this is another thing I got to put this out there. I should have said this at the beginning of the video. But if you made it to the end, then lucky for you. But you probably already know this. If you don't have money, if you broke and you're just trying to start a business, if you have a really good idea, if this is something you really want to do, make sure you write out your business plan. You're going to need that. Same thing if you're trying to get grant money. You're going to need your business plan and you're going to need a grant proposal. Now, every funding source or company that's providing grants they have different ways they want their grant proposal. But if you do your grant proposal right, there's ways to tweak it to where it works. Like I said, I got many grants. I get grants all the time. I don't even like, because I know how to do them. But I'm going to go through this and help you guys out with that. But there's a way when you do your grant proposal that, you know, it's going to be on your computer. You just go in and tweak things. They're really anal about prices, you know, when you run it down your prices because they're going to want cost for everything. They want everything. It's got to be meticulous. I don't think they go through all that, but they still want it, and you don't want to be left hanging. But start getting on this stuff now, because I'm gonna hit you guys with a lot of information. There will be videos, so it'll be easier. But if you're trying to start a business, or if you're in a business right now and you're stuck, you don't know where to go, what have you, this is what you want to do. You want to make sure you have that business plan ready, get the legal stuff out the way, go online and look up grant proposals. I'm going to have some examples on the site, and depending on what you're trying to do, it's a lot you qualify for. So again, we'll get into all this. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Thanks to everybody who's been supporting and everything like that. Again, watch your finances, people. Seriously, I have a lot of people, run into PayPal asking for their money back from, the split pay. There's a lot of people who made the first payment on the split pay, didn't make the second payment, and they're trying to, people be scamming me. I'm telling you, it's crazy what I got to go through. People who downloaded the Merkabah catalog trying to ask for their money back. It's crazy. So if you broke, if you can't afford none of it, don't try it, because don't run to PayPal trying to get your money back, 2 months later. I mean, it's just crazy. Also, if you have any issue, don't go to PayPal at all. Send me an email. If you don't get me on email, go to my Instagram, go in the comment section and just, hey, check your inbox, something. Don't go to PayPal, because you're just going to hold yourself up for a couple weeks. Plain and simple. If it's a problem, make sure you just inbox me, therealmerkabah@gmail.com, or inbox me on my IG on Instagram or what have you. I'll always check my Instagram on it every single day. So do that. Don't run to PayPal. It's just going to be a waste of time. But thanks for taking time to watch. See you guys next video.